Welcome to this video on payment schedule, revenue recognition with me, Duncan Williamson, December 2023. This is the problem. It's a revenue recognition schedule for 18 different contracts named by row. There's a contract start date, a contract end date, and every contract has a value and it exists for a certain number of days. Our job is to create the monthly revenue recognition schedule. The first thing to do is to create the daily revenue amounts. And the formula you can see there is to divide the contract value by the number of days. For example, with contract 1, it's $1,500 for 485 days. That's $3.09 per day. To help with that, to the right-hand side of that initial schedule, we've got month by month, January to December, and then I've nominated the opening date, the closing date, so the 1st of January to the 31st of January, and then the number of days in the month in 2021. And when I've completed it, it looks like that. So you can see for contract 1, in row 5, there are no payments scheduled at all until July. And then that contract starts on the 1st, the 2nd, add date in July, and then we multiply the number of days, appropriate days, by $3.09, you remember, so it gives us $86.60. In August, the amount is 95 because of the 31 days as opposed to 31, but 31 less the start date, and then 30 days, 31 days, and so on. And the same applies to all contracts. They all begin later in the year, or they're already in progress at the beginning of the year, and maybe they finish before the end of the year, that kind of thing. Here's the formula that we need to create on a contract by contract basis and a month by month basis. The formula evaluates the revenue recognition values for contract 1 then, and I've set out the formula in full, first of all as a screenshot from the Excel file, and then in an easy to read format, and that green text box there. Study it and see what you think of it. But to help with that, what I did was I asked ChatGPT, which is very good at this sort of thing, to explain the formula, and you can see. However, it would take you quite a while to work all of that out, and for you and or I or anyone to come up with that formula from scratch, again, it would take quite a while. Study this slide and see if it helps. If you've never done anything like this before, does it help? If you have done something before, can you improve on it? Now, I don't dismiss what we've discussed so far, but I do challenge the approach. More than that, I am all in favor of single cell solutions in many situations, but I always consider the complexity of such a situation and the problems that such a solution might cause if ever we have to hand over our work for someone else to manage on our behalf. And again, I'm not dismissing anything and not saying anything about the ability of anyone to do their work. But think about what you see as my alternative approach on the next slide. Rather than put all of January in one cell for one contract and all of February in one cell for one contract, I've essentially flipped and opened this table. And what you can see here is I've got the date from the 1st of January to the 31st December in column A, and then contract 1, beginning on the 1st of January, if appropriate, has the formula in cell, B4, and that's for that day, for that contract, for that day. And you can see the formula in the middle of the screen in the formula bar for contract 1, day 1, and look how much simpler it is. I asked ChatGPT again to explain it, and you can see the explanation is a lot shorter. It's not to say it's very, very simple, but it's certainly a lot shorter. And if you are handing over this spreadsheet or contract to someone else, it would take them a lot less time to learn it and be able to audit it and correct it if necessary. Then, to make sure I did everything right, we, in a sense, go full circle, because from that large table, I create a pivot table. And what you can see here, although I didn't show you with any great clarity what the final revenue recognition schedule is by the first method, otherwise you'll find the answers are exactly the same. But by using my alternative approach and this pivot table, it really becomes a piece of cake. By the way, you can download this file of mine and you can assess everything I've said and everything that I've done, and you can check it for yourselves. So in conclusion then, both approaches to the revenue recognition problem give the same correct answer, and if we update any of the data, they will both continue to generate the right answer. However, do consider the effort involved in the original complex single cell solution formula and the time it would probably take most of us to generate. Consider also the likelihood of making mistakes in the formula like that. It's much higher than with my alternative approach. And my alternative approach is simpler to create, simpler to understand, and simpler to maintain. Thank you for watching this payment schedule revenue recognition video with me, Duncan Williamson, December 2023.